Hey, good afternoon, Southern Vermont Vintage. So, that's right, we got ripped off. Buying sterling silver online, I mean, it's gonna happen if you're buying from a non-trusted source. That's the silliest thing you could do. Gotta know the source you're buying from. Now, we purchased this from a seller on the auction site, Whatnot. Now, it's not Whatnot's fault. It's the seller, some of the sellers, some of the rooms. You gotta be careful. You gotta know who you're buying from. Now, tough to give some of these people the benefit of the doubt when it's multiple times, and a lot of the items you're seeing, you know about, you know where they're coming from, you know what's going on. These are straight from Temu items. Here's one here we bought. This is the most recent one. Bought it in the thought that if it was real, was buying it for less than scrap value, had it sent to me here. It was like $12, $14. I was figuring this probably weighed, I don't know, at least a half a gram, maybe, I mean, a half an ounce, maybe an ounce if I was lucky. So that was the thought there. And it was sold as 3/9 fine. Now the package here, you can give them the benefit of the doubt. They could have just stuck it in another package. But this is straight like Temu packaging. It's not even what's listed on here, 925. But, you know, you pull this out, it looks good, it looks pretty. Now, also, this day, I was the 112th purchase. And there was hundreds more after me. That day, I think they went to like 400. So that's how many people, 75% chance, got ripped off that day. Let alone, this isn't a first time for this buyer. This is why I bought it. I bought it a second time just to verify that this person's a dirtbag. So we can see here, you know, just because it's stamped, that don't mean nothing. You know, I can stamp, I don't know if I have a stamp right here, but I could stamp anything I want in the back of this right now. You know, so that doesn't mean anything. Everything has to be tested. You know, if you wanted to, you don't want to damage this, so you never know what's on the inside. It could have a real heavy plating, so you got to get through that plating if you need to test this, or if you're going to sell it for scrap weight and stuff. So like some of the things we would do, take a file, dig down really hard and deep in there to make sure you got below any type of plating that's on there, because you can take and go ahead and acid test this. Let's see, let's do this right quick here, because I don't remember if the plating on this was legit, because that's what the case usually is. Usually it's a heavy plating of sterling over copper. And when you do the scratch test, it comes back sterling and everything looks good. But if you got down there really deep, you start seeing the copper, which I don't know if you can see it here. You can see the orange of the copper right there above my nail. But here, when you do this, you really want to give yourself some, you know, even look at that, just scratching a little bit, it's got this orangey color. So the plating on this might not even be legit either. Usually you find the plating is legit. And so we're going to do a whole bunch here, so that way we try to get through the plating. But then we're going to do just a little bit of the edge here to try to see if the plating is legit. Try not to get through it. Yeah, that doesn't even look legit. Let me grab something that I know 100% is sterling. And we'll scratch it and show you the difference. Just the color difference, look at that. Okay, so now easiest way to do the quick test, if it's silver or not the purity, but if it's silver or not. Oh, let me hold on, gotta have your protective gloves. All right, I'm back. Now you need to do this on something too that you don't mind ruining, just in case you spill any or make a mess. So here we go. I'm gonna try to bring this over here and see if we can't really allow you guys to see what's going to happen here. Now this is going to disappear underneath this. And there's the plating there. Let's spread that out. Okay, disappeared, gone. Now here, It's not going to disappear, and it's going to highlight blue. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So you can see now. Let me get a napkin. Don't make too much of a mess here. Let me tip this. See how it's like a highlighted like blue silver under there? Everything's gone. There. It acid ate right through it. So now we know, okay, that ring is sterling. That bracelet, not even the plating showing up as sterling. I'm gonna clean this off here. This isn't a good thing with the gloves. You don't gotta worry about getting a little bit on your fingers, because it'll stay on there for weeks. It'll change your skin a little bit of color, kind of eat the skin a little bit. So we know so far, yeah, nothing's coming back on this. So let's do something else. Let's see if we can cut a chunk of this off. I should have my safety glasses on, but there we go. All right. Yeah, look at that. Yep. Look at that. Garbage. Not even worth scrap. Hey, this is literally a couple cents worth. Let's pick up some fuzz. Let's weigh it and see now what it would have been. And we'll throw it up on the scrap calculator right quick and see what the value would have been if this was real. Let's see, what do we got? We got 21 grams. All right, let's check this out. All right, excuse my mess and my ghetto-ness and how we're doing this, but we're gonna punch in here what we got going on. What do we have? 21 grams. Select the purity. It was supposed to be 3 nines fine. So it should have banked $22. You know, granted, what I was paying and everything, you know, it was like 12, 14 bucks to get it. The buy was just to check and see what's going on with this guy, see if he's still ripping people off, because I had bought from him like a year ago, and that was the deal. And like I said, Whatnot's really good about reimbursing, as long as, you know, you do your due diligence on documenting everything and having it tested properly. But yeah, it would have retailed me, you know, $22 in scrap, so I would have made like 10 bucks, which isn't a whole lot of money. But now I know never to go to this guy's channel and trust him, which he's already, that channel's been taken down, so it must be a bunch of people have reported him for the fake stuff he's selling. And already I noticed another channel with his name has already popped up, and he's back reselling. And I don't know if because I reported him that he got obviously upset, because he came and started following me on there and then bought a bunch of items out of the store. So I just canceled the items and blocked the dude. But then I noticed today another room with his name on it, because once he bought the items, it told me his name, his shipping address, and everything. And he started a new room utilizing his name and everything, and then followed me today. So it's like, I don't know, the dude's after revenge. And it's like, you're the one that's ripping people off and like taking advantage of the situation. Like, this ain't cool. Like, you know, just the time it wastes. You know, I sat there for hours and watching all these other folks. Like, there's people like literally spending like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like no joke, like some of the buys and purchases and the numerous purchases. Like there was people that day that, you know, I watched them buy like 20, 30 items, all at, you know, anywhere from $20 to $50. So that, you know, that's a lot of money you're ripping off somebody. So not cool at all. So we know that's totally fake. So this is literally worth throwing in the scrap pile for the scrap guy to come pick up for free for you. That's like, there's nothing here of value, really. You know, the small amount of copper, nothing. But check out a couple other items here. Like, this is the ring we just tested. This is sterling here, 925. So that's legit, at least. But let's check this out. We bought this off of Whatnot as well. Burner Brothers. what are these called? Like a bolo or something, maybe? Bolo tie or something? Now, the bottoms here, you know, I know definitely are. They probably were plated at one point in time. I don't know if that is turquoise. I don't know how to test your turquoise. I guess I gotta look up and check. You can see it's been sitting around for quite a while, quite a bit of dust. And I don't remember what I paid for this. I think I paid like somewhere between $15 and $20. Now it's iffy looking on it being sterling. There's a little damage maybe there. I don't see any markings on it anywhere. And like I said, you can't go by the markings, but it can help for sure. All right, I don't know. Let's do a scratch test right where that damage is. Oh, it's looking decent on the stone here. All right, looking decent on the stone. See, Burner Brothers are pretty good people. They own an auction house over in Ohio and do this seriously for a living, like big time. So they're a pretty trusted source, but still, you never know. Gotta always do your due diligence. They could have been sold something that's not what it actually is. And this is, yep, a really low quality, probably like an 800 silver. It's not showing up as bright. I don't know if the video will really show it. It kind of does. Not showing up as bright. And that's what I've noticed. The blue and the reflectiveness of, like, it makes it like a bluish color and like highlighted silver color. And I've noticed, like, when the purity is, say, a lower purity, that it might be a little bit not as bright to you in this test here. All right, so we got a couple good pieces. Junk piece that we knew we're probably getting ripped off on the whole time. All this other stuff was bought. It wasn't sold as sterling. So if it is or it isn't, there would be no refund through Whatnot. Where this was, and all your buys are video recorded. So when I purchased this, they took a snapshot for like 30 seconds prior to the purchase, through the purchase, after the purchase, of the folks bidding. And you can go back and review that, I think, for like 30 days, 60 days or something. So you can hear, like, the seller, you know, this is 3.9 fine sterling, or 3.9 fine silver. Just like the other pieces he sold that day, you know, saying this is sterling, this is 3.9's fine, this is what it is. Like, they guarantee it. These items here were just sold, you know, unknown, in a jewelry box, maybe, as seen, as is, untested. That's your best way to sell the stuff on there. If you don't know, sell it untested. Cover your butt. Don't say it's something that you don't know that it, whether or not it is or not. So, like, we'll look through this stuff here real quick, because there's a few things that are, and a couple things are not. This definitely isn't. This is, if you guys know what this is here, this is pretty cool. Put it down in the chat if you know what it is. I'd like to see what people's guesses are. But this is a pretty cool item here. Like I said, throw it down in the chat, down there. And subscribe too. I'm trying to get the subscriptions up. I'm thinking about monetizing the channel. I'm now disabled, and this is what I do full-time in life. It was always either part-time when I was growing up, or full-time in my 20s. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff in New Hampshire with auctions. I'm not going to go through testing these. I've tested all this stuff here. This is legit sterling. The chain's legit. These were legit. Now, these were a good score. I forget what the weight is here, but I bought both of these for $12 shipped. The price was $12 shipped. I think I got them for $6, and then what my shipping cost was it brought it to like $12. And let's see what we got. This is 925. Oh, battery's low. Battery's low. Let's grab the other one. Yeah, always have a backup. And these new ones where you can just plug them in and charge them are nice. No batteries. So let's see what we got here for weight. Oh, what, you're saying battery low too? Oh, battery low too, so I guess we're not weighing any of those. Just a moment. All right, there we go. We're back. All right, let's check to see what the weight is on this. Yeah, 34.2. So just over 1 ounce. So somewhere, I don't know, 25, 30 bucks. And for $12. So quick little double up of the money. Now someone on Whatnot says silver, sterling silver, and the people just come a crashing in. You don't find this now that often. There's a lot of people on there hunting and stuff. Like a year or two ago, when they first were popping up, and the app was just coming to life, you could really score a lot of this really cheap. But you got something like this here, where we're gonna check this out because the pin itself, I believe, is sterling, but the clovers, you can see the base metal, which is like a copper brass type of base metal, I guess. Made in England, they both say. But so these pins now, sometimes it can be just this here is sterling. These sometimes are not. Sometimes the hardware latching them is not. Sometimes they are. So we're gonna test the pin. We're gonna test the face. The hardware here, more than likely, if the pin itself or the face here is sterling, more than likely that is. The only thing that might not be would be the pin locking, like this pin in here might not be. Oops, video camera here. There we go. All right, let's test it. See what we got. Now I'm not going to turn these back in for resale. This is just going to end up going into probably scrap here. Doing what I'm doing here in a couple certain spots doesn't really create any noticeable damage unless you're like really microscoping it. But this here too is where you want to make sure. I don't know, maybe I will resell it. It's in really good shape. It's cute. The upper part is sterling. Definitely no lower part is. And that's such a lightweight amount of sterling that really, scrap-wise, it's probably like a couple grams, maybe. So you're looking at, buck 50 or so in scrap. So I'd probably be better off something like this to sell this, $10 to somebody. Even $5. $5 is better than scrapping it. I'm only going to get a buck 50 scrapping it. So let's see here what we got. And is my hunch correct? Pin. Well, the face definitely is. You can see that blue. If you can see it there. But it's there. You can see that blue along the edge there. And then here, it ate through it. So, no go. No go on the pin part, but the face is. So like I said, there's not much value there. Let's clean all that off there. You can clean these off better too with a little bit of acid. Get all that old base metal off in there. Need to pick up a larger stone. It's easier with one of the bigger stones too. This is good for just like a little travel when you're traveling. But here's like another, see, here's like a dime. This is a silver dime, okay? I'll do it right across the whole thing so you guys really see it, hopefully here. Awesome. Awesome. It's such a pretty sight to see right there. That is a beautiful sight to see, let me tell you. When it's real and it's legit. So let's check out this too. This was another. We're up in the air here. Look at these here. Okay, bought from the same buyer or same seller, I should say. Ain't this thing cool? It's silver. I don't think it's solid. Haven't checked it out yet, but it's at least got a real heavy plating. Look at the color difference between these two. Now, I bought them from the same buyer or same seller. It was like $22 shipped. I was looking at those, and this is where you got to have knowledge too, because you got to be able to look at something and know what some of the weights are, what some of the sizes. You know, your 4 and 5 and 6 millimeter flat chains at 18-inch weigh roughly this much. So you know when you're out there to pick something like this up, you know how much to spend. So let's look at the weight here, because this was, I think, I was figuring at minimum 1 ounce, but up to 2. And what are we? 68. 60. Whoops, is that even on there all the way? Yep. Yeah, 68. So just over 2. And they're all stamped. And that's what they did. They, you know, look, here we go. We got the sterling silver bracelet here. It's stamped 925. Some of them will even, see if I can find my scope here. Where's my scope? Some of them will even be able to use their scope, and you know, there it is, 925. My scope's dirty. You know, and that's what they're selling you on. You know, look, it's stamped 925, it's sterling and everything. But then let's see here, where is it? Let's no, I don't see it on there. But let's do the scratch test on this one here. All right, here we go. We're gonna do a scratch test. And we need to make sure we're getting through that base metal there. You know, could have a real, oh, look at that, already seeing orange. Right there at the very tip, you can see it shining back. All right, so we know at least the clasp here is no good. This is definitely not, I can tell you already. Not to say that some of these links are not. So now you gotta start breaking it down and pulling stuff apart and checking to see, okay, maybe some of these are. Let's scratch some of these on here. Maybe parts of this bracelet are and other parts are not. Yeah, it's not looking good either. No. This is going to be a fake, 99% sure. Let's scratch this end of the clasp there. We did that side. Let's do this side. This is stamped 925. So maybe just this one piece is. And I mean, look at the color difference, like a effing rainbow. So 99% sure we're going to have a no-go. Now let's do one of these rings here. We haven't done one of these rings that attach these flat pieces. Maybe one of those are, but there, once again, it's not even soldered shut. That's another sign of some quality. There, they're soldered shut. Nope. I'm going to say no-go. I'm going to say no-go on this whole piece. And let's see. Yeah. Yep, that's a no-go. I'm not sure what that metal is. It's having a tough time eating it, but no, there it goes. Yeah, nope. Every bit of it, no-go. So we can do some checking here. I don't know if we can get this one on. It'll break it. Because we don't want it to go back out into the community either. So it'll get chopped up. Yeah, look at that. Copper wire inside of there. So that's a junk. Let's cut another chunk of this apart here. Like I said, don't want this back out in the community. All these little pieces. Yep, same deal. I can see it in there. The camera's probably not doing much justice, but you see it. The inside's just yellow, orange. So trash it. I'm gonna trash this clasp too. Make sure that doesn't come back to use again. Like I said, thankfully, Whatnot reimbursed and took care of me. Not to say they're going to do that for everybody. It's not to say they're going to continue to do it. I was foolish on a couple of my purchases over the years, and got some of this stuff unexpectedly, trusting some folks. And now I have a couple trusted people that I do buy off of there. These guys here, actually, these guys are some really good folks. I would 100% recommend them all. And I wrote them down here so you guys could understand the names, because the letters are all together. So the girl that's doing the Monkey Stash, awesome chick. She does totally awesome. She's probably one of the top sellers on there. I want to say she did close to 1 million last year. Unbelievable, wicked awesome person. I think they're down in Texas too, from what I remember. Deal to Steal, another good folks. They're on there all the time doing shows, and you'll see their rooms are loaded right up. Really good folks. They give you their honest opinion of what the items are. Maybe not 100% the most knowledgeable people, but her and her, I think it's her husband, are super knowledgeable in what they do. They're like definitely worth checking out. Wolfpack Treasures, another group of folks that are really good, honest folks on there. Bearded Picker. Now there's a bunch of bearded people out there, so just make sure you're picking the right ones here. But Bearded Picker, he also does some stuff here on YouTube, has a couple shows and a couple channels, and puts out some videos and content. Another great, honest person. Him and his wife are doing some stuff on Whatnot, which is really cool. It's helping her get out, do and be active and stuff. So that's awesome. So go support Bearded Picker. You can go on these folks' their Whatnot pages and look for shows that they have coming up, and you can bookmark them. So you'll get your announcement, when a show comes. But yeah, these guys here, awesome people, go check them out. And don't forget, obviously, Southern Vermont Vintage. I should have put that on there too. But let's check out this other one. This other one's really got a quick tarnish. It was really quick to tarnish like this. It looked like this last week. Now, same type of clasp, type of deal, stamp 925. Same exact as that. This one, you can see here, I actually dug down. Whoops, where is it here? Come on, camera. Focus. Yeah, you can see I dug down with a file. And it doesn't really show the depth that well, but really took a file to it to really check it. And the yellow metal in there. It's not even like it's copper. It's almost like a brass. So it's like probably like a more of a tin, like a pot type metal, like a really cheap metal. Like copper is more expensive than the metal used here, But oh yeah, once again, yeah, I don't even gotta test it. Just I can look at that and tell you what's up. So let's check a couple of these rings here. Maybe these rings are legit. So let's just. And no, they're not gonna be. No, that's yellow. That's yellow. You got like a pinkish orange, or this is more like a pinkish red, but a lot of times it's more like that orangey copper. This is yellow, this one, but same deal. It's not gonna, not gonna produce at all. So maybe in an upcoming video we'll get into doing some purity testing of the silver and do some estimating of what we feel the purity is. We can have some, like I say, we can have some control groups and do a little bit of testing with the silver on purity and how you look for color at that point for that. But I don't know. I think I'm going to cut this video short here now. There's a lot of other stuff I want to get into here, checking out, testing, like some stuff that was obviously plated or something, had like a weird plating on it. Maybe somebody knew a little bit about that, but these, I'm not sure if these were silver. You can see a little bit of like that green tarnish, but that's because I think they're hanging out with some other items. That's the reason why. So I got to check those out. Yeah, this was a good, this dish here. Everything here is sterling. The handle, even the tray. Awesome. Yeah, this was awesome find here. But yeah, I'm gonna cut the video short. But you know, like, share, subscribe. I'm gonna try to get the followers coming up. I'm gonna try to put out a little bit of content on different things we find and just odd, random, different things we do in the resale and auction world. Hustling for yourself, buying dead people's items and getting them into hands of folks that will love them and enjoy them, trying to keep stuff out of landfills and just trying to do our part. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and down in the description or maybe even the comments, I'll have a link to my Whatnot store where you can go have trusted eyes on items. We do some live unboxings. Sometimes we do some curated shows. But there'll be a link down there. You can follow that link and get $15 off your first purchase, which that's a huge deal. And the shipping on there is super discounted shipping that they do for the folks that are buying. What would normally cost somebody $20 to $25 in the postal service to have shipped to them is like $9.21. So the shipping is super discounted. So a great place to pick up. I source off of there a lot. You can find a lot of great stuff. Know who you're buying off of. Trust them. Anyways, much love. Thank you. Southern Vermont Vintage out.